Pleasant to see you all. Are you all Northsiders? Do you have any interlopers from across the pond? First of all, I'd just like to say that I have rejected the offer of Beresford to give me a free apartment. I feel if this got out, it would taint my credibility this evening. I want you to know that every word that I say tonight is based on my genuine belief in this project. However, later on I will be available to be bribed. Now, I suppose many of you are wondering why anybody would, at this, as George Lee describes it, as this free-fall time in the property market, bother to do anything other than sellotape yourself into your office and just wait until the clouds of doom pass. Well, I suppose if you're one of those developers, and there are plenty of them, they will remain nameless, some of them are my friends, who dig holes in the ground and create high-density developments with little or no amenities. Halfway through the first sale, you realise that this reasonably appointed place has only half occupancy, and you are now paying double the management charges. Those guys, they're hockeyed for a while. This development is aiming at a much higher target. It's a risky target, but it's a very, very, very attractive target. We are creating something on the north side here that our south side cousins will be, I believe, ultimately horrified by. Because the thought of these kebab-munching Philistines across the Liffey, living in their gloriously appointed emporium of luxury, will make them vomit, and so it should. I'll give you just a tiny little taste. Completion date's about 2010, so there's plenty of time. I think even George Lee would agree that there's even a vague possibility that for those speculators here, I can see one or two of them that I went to school with, that you might even be getting an increase in your price if you don't want to make it your permanent home. Think of the Clive Christian Kitchen. Are you thinking of it? You, sir, you think you don't even know the Clive Christian Kitchen? Ask him, he does. He definitely doesn't. Think of the Mealy appliances. Are you thinking of the Mealy appliances? Think of the Italian bathrooms. What would that involve? I was warned not to go down the pornography line, so I won't even suggest what the Italian bathroom would involve. Wireless surround sound. And here's where it gets really, I mean, a lot of those things could be in any development, but here's where it gets really interesting. And this is a promise for life. This is a management promise for life because, as you know, the developer is also the manager here. So this is really putting your money where your mouth is. We are talking about a service that includes the potential to call up your own chef. You don't have that. To call up your own chef, to book a massage in the evening when you come home. You won't have to go to Leeson Street anymore. To make an appointment with your personal trainer. Suddenly you decide you need to go into town to talk to Ulster Bank about the rate. Well, your personal chauffeur will be there. On the way, maybe you'll stop off, well, actually your wife will, in Brown Thomas's and spend whatever you've left. Using the facilities of the personal shopper. I'm excited by it. No, actually, I'm not excited about that bit at all. Now, of course, let's look at the environment and the area in which this dream is placed. Clontarf, one of, without doubt, the most spiritual, magnificent areas in Ireland. I was born here in 1956. Tammy was playing on the radio as my mother brought me into the world. We were basically a population of cretins in those days, but Clontarf was still a fabulous place with huge potential. And now we've watched this part of the city not only continue to maintain this wonderful ambience and atmosphere, because I think Clontarfites always end up kind of coming back home. I made my way circuitously back from Dublin's inner city, where I lived in a shoebox for a short period of time, then into Marino, where I could just almost grasp Clontarf. And then, much to the chagrin of some of my neighbours, I bought the big house at the top of the road. He's a drug dealer, I tell you. Believe you me, that was said. We have everything, though, on our doorstep here, and we're also just looking at the very beginning of this area. We're only seeing now for the first time the development of real restaurants. We've got some wonderful restaurants. I mean, I think now the Jaipur has been eclipsed by Canara up the road. It's absolutely fantastic. And I want to see lots more of that. And I believe market forces will determine that we here in the suburbs are getting kind of fed up going into town. You know, it's a hassle. It's something that shouldn't have to experience. And something that now, particularly with this new development for those 52 lucky souls and their offspring and hangers-on, won't have to experience. Because everything will be on your doorstep here. Not to mention the thing that only God can give you, and that's that wonderful vista on the promenade. You are within breathing distance of it, literally. We have wonderful golf clubs, for some people, of course, sold the golf club. We won't go into that. I hope they got good prices. And we have fantastic potential in terms of community spirit, great schools, and also this fantastic community. And you know, Northsiders everywhere, whether it's not just in Clontarf, tend to be very jealous about that community spirit, and I think that that's great. And I hope we're going to show you something that's not only going to be appropriate, but that will take everything that I've already mentioned and give it a central, pivotal home. Does that sound like bullshit? I think you know where we're going. We're talking highlight, we're talking big time, big market. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've spoofed away grandiosely, but are they really offering something that's any different to anywhere else?
Mr. Ryan? Excuse me, Mr. Ryan, I'm terribly sorry to interrupt, but I couldn't help but overhear you speak of 119 Howth Road. You spoke of the services available to all residents.
I did.
If you please, I would like to give you a detailed run-through of these services. My name is Patrick. I am the concierge who will be facilitating these lovely people, well, 52 of you at least. So, without further ado, let me give you an idea of what you can expect and what I can organise for you here at 119. For those of you who wish to leave the car behind, we will provide you with a chauffeur to take you wherever you want to go. To the nearby airport, to the city centre, to socialise with friends so you don't have to drive home, even to do your personal shopping. But supposing you are too busy to do that shopping, believe it or not, we will provide you with your own personal shopper to get you what you want, whether it be in the city centre or perhaps a visit to our local boutiques. We have some wonderful boutiques here in Clontarf. We have Diffusion, Rocco, Ruby, Paolo Rossi, where you can pick up something for yourself or for that someone special. If you feel you're not getting enough exercise because of our chauffeur-driven services, we can provide you with your own personal trainer in the convenience of our gym here at 119. Then after your workout, or after your hard day at the office, why not relax those tired bones by booking our masseuse? There's no need to cook. If you so wish, retire to your suite where a personal chef can be organised to cater for you in your very own Clive Christian kitchen. And after dining, why not avail of our maid to service your suite? And if that's not enough, should you or your clients need to get away, we can have a private jet or helicopter standing by at the airport to whisk you off, whether it be for business or pleasure. You'll excuse me, Mr. Ryan, Mr. W is asking for a moment of my time.
Thank you, Patrick. Private jet. I presume that'll be landing on Howth Road.
Mr. Ryan? Excuse me, Mr. Ryan, I'm terribly sorry to interrupt.
Patrick, our concierge there, he's over-enthusiastic. But there will be concierge, and I mean, we all know what concierge, I mean, I didn't really know until the other night what concierge really means. It's the guy with the little things on his lapels who can organise. Well, you've all been on a golfer, you can outing lads, have you? You laughed too much. It's a true concierge service, 24/7. You know, it's going to merge, hopefully seamlessly with the available amenities around, but everything that you heard Patrick refer to there is possible as well. I mean, I can imagine that some people will take everything: maids, chauffeurs, butlers, private jets, helicopters, and all the special facilities that are going to be there on a daily 24-hour round-the-clock basis. But what does it actually look like?
Apologies, Mr. Ryan, for leaving you on such short notice. I heard you speaking of the external facade of 119. Well, I have just the thing prepared for you. 52 exclusive luxury suites, a business suite, a members club room, a residents-only health club and spa, swimming pool, luncheon-style formal gardens. The exterior facade of 119 incorporates a grand entrance canopy, roof in slate with glazed clay tiles, terraces and balconies all round with planted dividers and box hedging, 2 car park spaces per suite, cobble lock pathways, spacious 1-bedroom suites from 930 square feet, ranging to 3-bedroom suites up to 2,600 square feet.
Thank you, Patrick. That certainly answers a lot of our questions.
My pleasure, Mr. Ryan. I'm glad you asked. You will excuse me as I have an errand to run for Mr. W.
Who is Mr. W? This has really tormented my family. My 14-year-old daughter and her pals are absolutely obsessed with Patrick and Mr. W. So I think that the one thing that surely comes out of this, that old-fashioned hoardings are not dead as a method of promoting something. Thank you, Patrick. We'll talk to you in just a moment. Now, of course, these wonderful facilities, and Patrick has indeed alluded to a few of them. I could visualise myself there at a knockdown price, which we'll discuss later. In my dotage, when my family have abandoned me, I might give away my clothes. There would be no need for them at that stage, just a simple toweling roll. A masseuse at my constant disposal. The maid. Of course, by that stage, in 2010, there might be a law saying that maids have to be male. Who knows in this political right time. The chef. All these incredible facilities. If you were still in business, and I'd like to think by that stage that the nation had all clubbed together to get rid of me, and I could be there just doing nothing. I could avail of the business facilities to deal with my investments in Lithuania. You laughed at my Lithuanian investments. Yes, indeed. There's so much that you could do there in so many ways that you could enjoy yourself. But I need more detail. Do you? Much more detail.
Mr. Ryan? Mr. Ryan, say no more. I have a short film ready for you with all the necessary details you are looking for. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Well, what do you think? I tell you, when I first was asked to do this, I said, oh, that's what that's about then, is it? I don't my mind trying to figure out what that hoarding was about every day driving up and down Howth Road. And I said, but you know something? I said, it's one thing to, you know, lots of people promise all these things. You know, architecturally maybe you'll be able to half realise it. And then I get to meet the Earthswood guys and they're incredibly passionate about this project. They want to see this through, and by the bitter end, I mean generations on. There will be no question using these amenities as they've been described and these facilities as a way to hook people to buy these properties. This is so intrinsically a part of creating something that's different to any other development that I've seen in this city anyway, that the amenities and the facilities, the concierge service, the quality of the extraordinary extra facilities that are there, the club, the pool, the gymnasium, all of these extra things that sound sort of phantasmagorical, but they will be there, and they have to be there. They have to be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 12 months a year, forever. And there is a passionate commitment by the developer to work on developing that with as much passion, with as much foresight, and with as much commitment as there is to the physicality, to the engineering, to the architecture, to all the infrastructural support mechanisms that will go into putting together this extraordinary piece of real estate. And I think whether you end up living there or not, or whether you buy it and hope one day to turn a profit on it and prove George Lee wrong, I hope, you know, that you will share my opinion that this is something in the heart of our community that we will be enhanced by, that we will be very proud. We will drive by this and you'll go, that's good, that's top end. And they delivered everything that they said they were going to deliver. So we have Sheriff Fitzgerald here this evening, and Philip is here, and he's going to be talking to you about your cash. Do we still do cash? Do we? Is that? It's probably against the law now, is it? But if there is anybody with 2.2 million in the room, I'll help you. Enjoy the rest of the evening. I have to say I've been really charmed by this, and I think it's a fantastic development. These guys have the pockets to see it through. There's already a phenomenal level of interest, and the completion date will be 2010. This is not something that they hope will happen. You know, it's not a fairy tale that will happen this time next year. This is careful, considered. It's a path that's not been undertaken lightly, because the aspirations, the targets and the goals are very, very high. And the finishes, in every sense of the word, whether it's the service, the amenities, or indeed the structural architecture, has to be perfect. So, as an Northsider, I'm enormously proud. I hope you are as well. And happy hunting. Thank you very much indeed. My pals from
I heard Tammy that morning, I think, Mr. Ryan. I was 4, which means that I'm 4 years closer to retirement, which means I'd probably go home to my wife and ask her, would she mind moving north side with me, as I'm also a south sider. My father told me never to sing after a very good singer, so I don't propose to talk after Mr. Ryan for very long. But suffice it to say that we at Gerry Fitzgerald and Gerry Fitzgerald New Homes are delighted to be associated with a product of this quality. It is already a great success, with, as I understand it, 60% reservations already. I think that's it's a great tribute to involved in the project so far. It's an absolutely fabulous concept. I must say I was quite envious of the 52 people. If I can't talk my wife into it, I'm very envious of the 52 or 54 people who will end up living in this fabulous development. Congratulations to Eric and for coming up with the idea and for hopefully seeing it through. As Gerry says, it's going to be very special compared to anything else that has been built in this country. So, nothing more for me to say, but my colleagues from Sherry Fitz and Mr. Northside himself, Mr. Brian Hennessy, who doesn't need introduction to too many people in this room, is down there to take your deposits. You needn't pay deposits this evening if you are prepared to take the risk that the units you want will still be there tomorrow. Thank you for having me, and I'll head home and talk to the wife. Thank you.